On a day when their owner was banned for life from the NBA. The Los Angeles Clippers at Staples Center, taking the floor a short time ago.
An audio recording allegedly of Clippers owner Donald Sterling making racist remarks to his girlfriend is being investigated by the NBA.
The statements by the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers speak for themselves.
He shouldn't own a team anymore.
There's no room for that in our game.
Do you know that you have a whole team that's black that plays for you?
Do I know?
The Clippers burdened by ignorant, racist comments made by its owner.
I support them and give them food.
When I listened to it, I had to listen to it again because I was like, man, he didn't just say that.
Each generation is faced with the issues of their times.
This was much bigger than anything I had ever faced before.
No other story matters.
This is big news. That was it, though. That was the beginning of the fire.
Effective immediately.
Yes, I got it right.
I am banning Mr. Sterling for life.
Oh, I got it right.
Obviously, everything's changing even within the last couple months. It's been so different. But I think, you're seeing conversations that need to be had that maybe weren't being had. And sometimes it's a hard conversation, but it's getting people talking. And I think people are really moving in a direction where they're trying to make strides and trying to, have those hard conversations and really look at it at face value. You have the NBA Foundation that's created this whole social justice task force. The NBA created a subset that has a foundation that's donating millions back into the community focused on social justice. You have the players involved, ownerships involved. There's an entire board of directors. It's huge.
As we continue our conversation about the Donald Sterling scandal in 2014, let's fast forward to this year with the Milwaukee Bucks boycott. Although the two are different scenarios, both were in line with systemic racism that intertwine in our everyday lives. The players of the Milwaukee Bucks decided on August 26 to boycott their game against the Orlando Magic in protest of the police-involved shooting of Jacob Blake. This was a power shift for the players because with the Donald Sterling racist comments, the players on the Clippers team didn't boycott their game like the Bucks did. But for 5 days, Doc Rivers, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, and other players led the movement to hold racism accountable. Donald Sterling was fined $2.5 million by the league commission and was banned for life. Even though Donald Sterling still had to sell the team, players are now demanding policy changes because they know that they are the product. The league knows that if the players do not play, they don't have a product to sell for monetary gain. Money and power mixed with ongoing racism has the front offices forced to make real change within the league. Systemic racism did not start or end with Donald Sterling. However, players like Isaiah Thomas, Malcolm Brogdon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have formed a coalition based on policy changes. They've also reached out to Rick Wade, a VP of Strategic Alliance and Outreach at the U.S. Chambers to implement policy changes. They have also reached out to other organizations besides the NBA, such as football, hockey, baseball, and other sports and entertainment entities. They believe in stronger together as their pursuit of justice continues.
Back in 2010, when Kelly Loeffler first purchased the WNBA's Atlanta Dream, her intentions seemed genuine. Rather than looking at her investment as a moneymaker, she was more focused on what she described as the importance of being a female owner. She appeared supportive of her players and an owner committed to bettering both the program and the league overall. Many people agreed that early on her desire was for the team to be frontrunners for women, a positive and inspiring group that young females would be able to look up to. However, by 2020, Loeffler had shifted her goals slightly when she took her seat in the Senate as a Republican from Georgia. Almost immediately, she aligned herself with the values of Trump's GOP. Unsurprisingly, in the process of all of this, she has lost the WNBA. The uncomfortable rift between Loeffler's two roles as an owner of a team in a league that is predominantly black and has long used their platform for social activism, and as a politician seeking re-election along with Trump's GOP, has only grown following the death of George Floyd. Like the NBA, the WNBA has committed themselves to amplifying social justice causes while in their Florida bubbles. In the wake of players wearing Breonna Taylor's name and Black Lives Matter on and off the court, many Trump supporters have called for athletes to stick to sports, something Loeffler has agreed on. It was Loeffler's decision to write a letter to Commissioner Kathy Engelbert objecting to the league's embrace of Black Lives Matter that effectively ended any remaining relationship between her and the WNBA's inner circle. And now they want her out. Citing Adam Silver's response to Sterling's racist remarks being made public, many players believe that there are grounds for Engelbert to banish Loeffler in the same way. As she continues to remain co-owner, the Dream and the WNBA have responded powerfully. Showing their support for her Democratic opponent, Raphael Warnock, many have worn Vote Warnock shirts on the court, hoping to send a silent yet powerful message to Loeffler. This conflict in values between Loeffler and the rest of the league makes one question how and why a white woman who's outwardly been unsupportive of her players and league should remain owner. The way in which players have responded to the call to action as both athletes and activists this year is a testament to the change we have seen since Sterling's incident in 2014. Although many players voiced their frustration after the Sterling tapes were released, the widespread protests of social injustice and those who continue to turn a blind eye to it has never been more powerful. Still, the voices of the WNBA players do not garner the same media attention that comes with the star power of the NBA, and it makes us wonder if Loeffler's role would remain the same had she been an investor in the male league.
Following the leaked conversation of Donald Sterling in 2014, LeBron James was one of the most vocal athletes in response to Sterling's racist comments. In a showing of solidarity, he and his Heat teammates protested alongside the Clippers by wearing their warm-up shirts inside out. Today in 2020, we are seeing yet again LeBron take a stand. More than ever, athletes are using their platforms to directly impact change and through more than a vote, making a major difference in the political landscape. LeBron's campaign focused on combating misinformation and voter suppression tactics targeted towards young black voters. Backed by more than 50 high-profile people from the world of sports and entertainment and social media, following of more than 145 million, LeBron single-handedly could have helped turn the U.S. from red to blue this November. We are also beginning to see black athletes in white-dominated sports speak up on racial injustice this year. Formed by 7 current and former minority NHL players in June, the Hockey Diversity Alliance is dedicated to creating sustainable change on all levels of hockey. At the top, they are focused on educating and encouraging accountability from the leagues and leaders. At the grassroots levels, they are working to ensure hockey is accessible to anyone who loves the game. Kick It Out is another example of moving towards equality and inclusion. Starting in 1997 due to widespread racism in English football, their goal is to eradicate discrimination on all levels. With the new leadership diversity code launched in October, a future direction for building a more inclusive game has been made, beginning with their Take a Stand campaign, which challenged everyone in the football community to take an action or make a public pledge in the fight against discrimination.
Since the Donald Sterling scandal, the NBA has made a substantial effort to put diversity and inclusion at the forefront of its organization. Lillian Maheed has created coaching programs for people of color and women, partnering with marketing, sponsorship, and social responsibility leaders across the league to ensure authentic engagement within the NBA's communities. Ora Stewart, one of 31 Black people employed by the league who holds a position of vice president or higher, is focusing on culture, inclusion, and innovation, already establishing policies and programs to increase representation of people of color and women in leadership roles across the league. And just this year, the NBA Foundation was born, with a focus on investing in youth employment, higher education development pathways, and career placement. Along with the NBA appointing minority leaders in diversity and inclusion leadership positions, the teams have also played a role in changing the cultural narrative. In response to local unrest and protests following the police-involved shooting of Keith Lamont Scott in September 2016, the Charlotte Hornets created the Hornets Players Scholarship Fund and Diversity and Inclusion Council. The council is proactively identifying ways to improve economic mobility, law enforcement's relationship with the community, and race relations within Charlotte. Furthermore, the Spectrum Center became an early polling site for the 2020 election. Along with creating safe voting locations, the NBA ran advertisements during the playoffs dedicated to promoting greater civic engagement in national and local elections by raising awareness around voter access and opportunity. One could argue that the Donald Sterling moment was the catalyst for ending the Michael Jordan stay out of politics era in the NBA. In a 2015 NPR interview, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar accused Jordan of taking commerce over conscience, as Jordan is known to remain silent on social and political issues. Since then, Jordan has become more outspoken. In summer 2016, he condemned the killing of African Americans by police. In fall 2017, he shared his opinions after President Trump uninvited then NBA champion Golden State Warriors to the White House. And he also voiced his displeasure over North Carolina's bathroom bill that initially led to the NBA moving the All-Star game out of Charlotte. With over $10 million already donated to progressive causes, over $100 million pledged over the next 10 years to improve social justice, and finally speaking up on important issues, owners are beginning to utilize their powerful influence to move towards racial equality.